Hi, this is Dr. Jim Ave, your professor for ATR 590, Athletic Training Research Methods 2. As in our last class, there will be two sections of this course. I'm teaching one section. I will have the same students I had in the first section. So welcome back to our class together. And in the other section, Dr. Nate Foster will teach the second section. And so this is a continuation of our the ATR 580 class. This is the second half of the Athletic Training Research Methods course. In our first class together, we learned about all the different research methods that are used in athletic training and in other areas. It's not just specific to athletic training. I try to present general information about research methods that are used in any of the healthcare, allied health, kinesiology areas. But before I move on to that, let's go ahead and read our passage together. This is Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14 from the New International Version. Jesus said, "Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." I hope you find the gate and the road that leads to life. That life is in and through Christ, as He commands us to enter that way through Him. In this presentation, I'm going to discuss our main assignment for this class, because it's a very significant assignment. It's called the Athletic Training Research Paper Assignment. Let's go ahead and scroll down to this here, Athletic Training Research Paper Assignment. This is pretty significant assignment, as I said earlier, because what we're attempting to do is take what you learned in the previous class, then apply it in this paper. So in the previous class, you learned you learned about the different types of research methods. Now we want to apply that information by having you pretend to do a study. You're not going to actually do a study. You're going to make up the different sections that you would see in a journal article. You're going to do every section that you would normally see in a journal article except what's called the results section. The results section is the statistical information. That is a difficult thing to do when you're not actually doing a study. So in the 580 class, you're asked to pick a topic of interest that you may do in the athletic training in this particular assignment. You can change your assignment. You'll see in this week I asked you basically to do the same thing. Pick a topic that you're interested in. At this point, you have to be pretty solid on that topic. Dr. Foster and I will give you our approval after you post your topic, if you can use that topic for this assignment. One of the things that you need to know is that you should be able to find at least 10 peer-reviewed journal articles that you'll need for this assignment. So it has to be a topic that has been pretty well researched within the last probably 10 to 15 years. So that's when we read your topic ideal. It's one of the things that we have to analyze and think through, as there have been enough research already on this particular topic, and it has to be good research. That's the other thing we'll talk about in week 1, is how do we know what's good research versus not so good research. That's an assignment for week 1 too. And then you'll use the template that I've provided to actually pretend that you're submitting an article to the Journal of Athletic Training or the Athletic Training Educational Journal. I'm not going to go through each one of these sections in detail, because we'll have rough drafts almost every week for our class. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to our schedule. And so we're in week 1. We're doing an introduction. Then I'll have some presentations about how to write a literature review, which in this class would be more of the introduction, but it'll be helpful for you to understand the literature review process. And then we'll have 2 learning activities. Both of these are forums. The first forum is about topic identification I talked about earlier, and then the second forum is about locating quality research sources, and how do we know what is a good resource to use and what's not such a good resource to use. And so that's what that particular assignment is. And you'll see that we're continuing our devotional discussion on courage and calling, and we're starting in chapter 7 this week, and we'll work through the rest of this text together, and we'll finish this book by the end of this course. Then week 2, we have our first rough draft for the athletic training research paper. You'll provide a purpose statement, research question, null hypothesis for your proposed study. We'll give you feedback, and then in week 3, you'll also submit your rough drafts. Each time you turn in a new rough draft, you'll provide your previous material in, so it can continue giving you feedback on your athletic training research paper. So second week is actually developing a research method section. This is where you're going to apply the information that you learned from the ATR 580. Week 4, you'll do the data analysis draft. Week 5 is the introduction, conclusion, application sections draft. Week 6 is the abstract and keywords draft. And then by the end of week 7, your paper's due. It goes by quick. It's a pretty significant amount of work. I have provided you a couple of examples because I've done this assignment in my class at Fresno Pacific University. It wasn't specific to athletic training, but I provided you 2 athletic training papers from my students to give you examples. And so the other thing that you'll do that I don't know if you've done in any of your other classes at Indiana Wesleyan University is you actually do a presentation, audio presentation for your athletic training research paper. You can use audio PowerPoint, Keynote. If you are a Mac person, you have the Keynote version of PowerPoint. You can use what I'm using, which is called Screencast-O-Matic.com, which is a screen capturing tool. I've provided you a bunch of different ways that you can do this in our class. Basically, you'll provide a 5 to 15 minute presentation hitting the highlights on your research paper, so other students will have information on it, and then you'll provide a couple of open-ended questions for other students to answer, and you'll facilitate that discussion through the week. Since we've had class together and you had class with Dr. Crump, you kind of know what the expectations of this class are because you just completed a class with me. To be successful in this class is due to things that you were doing in the first half of this course. You can work with other students, which I suggest. You can also work alone, depends on which way you are successful, and work well together with others or not. Stay on top of things because, again, this is a lot more work than it seems like. You can see that I'm on the page right now with the rubric. You should look at this rubric. This is what you'll be graded on in our course. Again, I'm not going to go over this in detail because you can read that on your own. And just end this quick presentation to remind you, if you have questions, please post them in the faculty forum so Dr. Foster and I can assist you. You can also email me or Dr. Foster if you have questions. More likely, if you have a question, the other students in the class have a question. That's why I asked you to post the questions in the forum. So let's all start there and work together through this class.